Okay, so I'm reading this book, The Trap by David Icke, right? Okay, so in this book, we're gonna go to chapter 8. Chapter 8 is called Maybe Icke's Not So Mad, right? I don't know if any guys are too familiar with David Icke's work or not. If you are, you know what he be on, right? I always be watching his work. He's a genius in my eyes. But in this chapter 8, Maybe Icke's Not So Mad, he's talking about the world being a simulation, right? So in part of this chapter, he's talking about the world being a simulation, big computer, and basically how we, give people too much consideration thinking they have just as much consciousness as we do when people are literally like non-player characters, right? Which we already know this is what's going on, right? Okay, but he also skips to a part where he talks about near-death experiences. Now, I thought this was very, very interesting because I actually know somebody personally who had a near-death experience, and we would stay up for hours talking about it on the phone. And they had the experience where they didn't see any familiar family members, but they seen two light beings that tried to guide him to the light, right? The two light beings tried to guide him to the light. And he says that this is my uncle who had it. My uncle saying he did not recognize them through identity, but he felt that it was a big sense of feeling that he knew these people in connection, that he knew these beings and he felt safe with them, right? Okay, so there's a lot of people who have near-death experiences where they actually see family members that passed away, or maybe even pets and everything, just these personalities that passed away, right? So in this chapter, David Icke is talking about how the world is a simulation. That ain't a secret. And it's a big computer system, right? The Matrix. Now, this is where I was mind blown, because about the near-death experiences. Okay, so we hear stories about seeing the family members invite you to come. So basically in this chapter, it's questionable on, are these actually your real family members? Are these your real family members, or are these the simulation beings that are trying to guide you to the other side? And they're basically dressing themselves up as your family members and people that you miss, because it makes the transition crossover more easier, and the person basically feels more comfortable. If the person basically feels more comfortable when it's a family member or something than just a random being or alien or a random something being like, yeah, come over this way. So basically that it could not be your family members. They could be fake family members that are that this is generated computer person that is being generated in front of you to get you to cross over into the light. And then another thing that he's saying in this chapter is that when you go, they're trying to make you go to the light, because Icke believes that the light is the cycle for the reincarnation. So basically when you go to the light, it brings you back here. And I don't know what the other option is if you can't go to the light. I don't know. But that is very interesting to me. And I'm going to tell you what, the beings not being your family members, for real, that is so scary to me. It just feels like, because you never know when you being played tricks on. You just never know. And I would have never even thought that they weren't my family. I would have never even thought that. And so, yeah, this man be opening up my eyes to stuff. So, but now I'm like, how could I have not known that it might be a trick? But when you're thinking about the world in the world in the sense of a simulation, and really understanding and believing it's the simulation, it is not hard to believe that those could be computer generated sims trying to get you to cross over for your comfortability. Because if it wasn't somebody familiar, you wouldn't go. So very, very interesting. That's a good chapter. The Trap is a good book. So I did want to mention that, and I'm going to keep this video very short. I'm going to make more videos about this later, but I just wanted to mention this very quickly. Peace out.